I'm going to open up about my devastating journey with chronic illness, and I'm going to get real with you in this video. I'm going to tell you about some of the depths of the lows that I reached and what it was like to have my world turned completely upside down, to feel like I was living in a body which was a prison cell, stopping me from doing the things that I wanted to do. Now, when a Christian goes through something like this, it can go one of two ways. A person can either become disillusioned and walk away from God, or they can be drawn so much closer to God in the midst of their suffering. And that's what happened with me. I burnt out at the start of 2015, and I was later diagnosed with Lyme disease, which I got on a mission trip 12 months before burning out. When I burnt out, my immune system crashed and the Lyme disease spread and wreaked absolute chaos and havoc on my body. Now, before this, I was very motivated. I had this really unhealthy mindset where I had to be doing something productive every second of every day. I was very busy at church. I was doing Bible studies. I was working full time. I was trading the financial markets in the evenings, and I was doing a bunch of other things, way too much, and then I crashed out. And from that point, my entire life changed. I got to such a place that I was so restricted that I was housebound and at one stage bedbound. I was literally spending my days laying there, unable to do anything, unable to look at electronic screens for more than 5 minutes, or read, or go for walks, or see people. I lost so much. I lost friends. I lost the ability to socialize, community, my job, finances on medical treatments, not being able to find anything that was helping, and even the breakdown of an engagement when she couldn't deal with what I was going through. And that was so crushing for me, because I'm the type of person that would stick by someone no matter what. Now, as I said, during that time I could hardly do anything. I was literally spending my days lying there and trying to build up energy so that I would be better the next day. But I would always end up using energy and actually going backwards, and then having to spend days in bed lying down, building back up again. And it was so frustrating. I can't even tell you what it's like when you are so motivated inside, but your body won't allow you to do anything. And when you try to push through, you end up just crashing out and ending up in bed. I can't even describe what it feels like in the body. Your body is just drained. It's just like nothing I've ever experienced before. And you're sitting there and it just feels completely meaningless. Day after day, month after month, year after year. And I'm so glad that I didn't know how long this would go on for before it happened, because I don't know how I would have been able to handle it. I'm very grateful that I could just live one day at a time, no matter how difficult it was. Now, when you're in that situation, you sort of feel like you're existing rather than living. You don't see any point in your life. You can't do anything, you can't see anyone, you're not moving forward, you're staying still while the world around you is moving, everyone else is moving on, and you're stuck in that place. All of those things that I've found purpose and meaning and value in taken away, and I couldn't do anything. But what it did is it made me come face to face with some really deep realities of life. It made me realize and ask myself the question, well, who am I when I can't do those things? Who am I when these things are taken away from me? And it made me recognize that my worth, my value, and my identity was being found in those things, and I need my worth, my value, and identity to be found in God, because I don't have anything else right now apart from myself, my thoughts, and God. And I realized that if I need things around me to get better in order for me to be okay and have worth and value and purpose and all of that, then I might not ever have any of those things, because things might not actually get better no matter how much I apply myself. I did the right things, ate the right foods, all of this sort of stuff, believed that I would get better. And as I said, just a time of such devastation, even getting through one day was just, you just don't even know how you got through the day, and let alone day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. But what I realized is that God doesn't see things the way that we see things. God grieves, first of all, with what we're going through. We're not alone. He is the God of all comfort. The Bible tells us that in 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 3. He loves us. He's with us, and we can experience him. And I realized that, you know what, even if I can't do those other things, God isn't calling me to do those other things. What he's calling me to do is to be faithful with where I'm at. And that might look completely different. It did look completely different to my life before or to someone else's life. It's all about faithfulness, not about the level of activity. If I'm being faithful with what I have and where I'm at, then God is pleased with me. Even if that means getting up and doing a little bit of stuff around the house, or meditating on one Bible verse, literally, or just getting out of bed. That can be more glorifying to God than anything else, because man sees the outward appearance, but God sees the heart. And what I realized is I have a purpose regardless of what I'm going through. I hated what I was going through. I was frustrated. I brought it to God, all of that. I can't even tell you how overwhelmed I was with all of those emotions, but I realized I can have a purpose in the midst of it, and that God sees my faith. And that was so encouraging to me. And I would sit there sometimes and just meditate on these verses, and I would actually experience a peace inside of me in the deepest parts. Amidst the frustration and all of that stuff, I could feel a peace and a joy. I could feel that God was there with me, and I drew closer to Him than I'd ever been to Him before, when I was forced to stop and come face to face with the question of who am I when I have nothing. So I realized that I had a purpose in the midst of that. I realized that God was with me in the midst of that, and I realized that His grace was enough. He wasn't calling me to do tomorrow or the day after or the week after or the month after. He was calling me to just do what I could today, which was very little. And then the next day, one day at a time. Do not worry about tomorrow, for each day has enough worries of its own. And the other thing that I realized as well was that, you know what, regardless of what happens, in the end, everything's going to be okay. No matter what I go through on this short life, I'm going to stand before God. I'm going to enter into glory. I'm going to have a glorified body. And if I've just lived out the will that He's called me to do, I've been faithful with a small amount of time I have here, then I'm going to have no regrets in eternity. I'm going to live a life worthwhile, a meaningful life, even if it doesn't look like what I thought a meaningful life was before. So I'm very thankful that over the last few years I've been able to have some good treatment, some ozone therapy and xenon, which has helped me tremendously. And I'm glad that I'm in a place now that is different to where I was before. But I do recognise there are many people as well that are in that place that I was in. And that's why I want to share this video with you. I want to share this video so that you have someone who understands, maybe not exactly your circumstance, but understands what it's like to go through this sort of thing. Someone who cares, and someone who can encourage you and tell you that you have a purpose, that you have a value, that God loves you, and that you can be faithful to Him regardless of where you're at, no matter what that looks like, no matter how insignificant you think that might be. It's not in His eyes. He sees it all, and He measures things completely differently. So I pray that this video has been a blessing to you. If you are going through something like this, or you've been through something like this, please leave your comments below. I would love to hear from you, and anyone else can encourage one another in the comments as well. But this is my journey, and these are some of the things that I learned, and I pray that they can be a blessing to you. So thank you so much. Leave your comments below, and I'll talk to you soon. God bless you, friends. For those of you who don't know, I don't run ads on this channel out of personal conviction, but you can help me to continue to put the time into this work by supporting me on Patreon or PayPal. Any support is so helpful and is greatly appreciated. The links are in the description below. God bless you, friends.